Lower back pain from running could be just boiled down to muscle tension in 3 specific muscles. Now, I don't want this to be a blanket statement for all cases of lower back pain when running, but chances are high if you have lower back pain from running and you haven't had like one acute drastic injury, it could just be from muscle tension and a lack of attention paid to recovery and massage techniques to alleviate the muscle tension that naturally comes up from running when you push yourself very hard. And now these 3 muscles are the QL, the glute medius, and the TFL. And each of these muscles is extremely vital and crucial in running. Like, you literally couldn't run without them, and they tend to develop a lot of tension and get very strong and well developed in runners. And this isn't a bad thing at all. I actually don't think running is bad for your lower back at all. I believe humans are meant to and born to be able to run. But inevitably, when you push yourself in running, which you should, tension is gonna rise in these muscles because these are what work the most, especially if you like work a desk job or go from a 9 to 5, like sitting at your desk all day to doing a long run. Like, tension in these muscles is gonna show up. All right, and you might be wondering, what are these 3 muscles? So I'm gonna put up a lot of diagrams and pain patterns here, so if you're just listening to this, make sure to tune into the actual video. The first one is the QL, and this is what actually lives in the lower back, and this is essentially what holds your pelvis together. If you didn't have QL muscles, every time you planted on one foot, your hip would just drop on the other side and you would just fall into a pile of bones and muscles. But you don't. Your QL is what holds your pelvis together and in alignment on both sides. And when you run and you plant repeatedly over and over again, the QLs are just going to get worked and they're going to get strained a lot. And when attention isn't paid to stretching and massaging and recovery and getting proper nutrition and even hydration and sleep after running, this muscle is very susceptible to acquiring tension, and that tension is going to cause pain. And the same thing is going to happen with the gluteus medius and the TFL muscles, although in slightly different mechanisms and pain patterns in the body. The gluteus medius and TFL are both lie on the outside of the hip, the gluteus medius in the back and the TFL in the front. They both support you while you're standing on one leg, which you're doing the entire time while running. And the gluteus medius helps you push off and the TFL helps you swing forward. So essentially, these 3 muscles are doing most of the work when running, and all 3 of them can refer pain to the lower back and hips when they get tight. Now, you might be thinking, I have lower back pain when running, it might be these muscles, what am I gonna do about it? So my kind of system for relieving this muscle tension, and I am a runner and I actually have felt this and actually do it, is massage, stretch, and strengthen in that order. And you wanna massage all 3 muscles, you wanna strengthen the QL and the glute medius, and you wanna stretch the TFL and the glute medius. So we're gonna massage 3 of them, stretch 2 of them, and strengthen another 2 of them. And if you want kind of a recap on this, I did write an article that you can reference later with steps and pictures and tutorials on all of this. But step 1 is always gonna be massage. And this is to actually eliminate the constant muscle tension that's in our bodies right now in the QL, glute medius, and TFL that's constantly pulling on our joints and just tugging on us out of place. And the good and the bad news for being a runner and taking the step of massage is that your muscles are gonna be quite well developed, quite thick, and quite rigid. So the good news is they're strong and they're pretty well developed. The bad news is they're tough and they're very resistant to massage. So you're gonna need to actually get in there with a decent amount of force to be able to break up the trigger points and knotting and muscle tension that have developed from running over long periods of time. You can do this at home with like a ball or foam roller, or go to a PT or massage therapist to dig in there with their thumbs or knuckles. But I actually made a massage tool and I love using it for this function on all 3 of these muscles. It's called the QL claw. This part is gonna do the actual massage if you get this tool. Great for the QL, glute medius, and TFL alike, although totally different areas. And I do have tutorials on this channel and my website on how to take care of muscle tension via massage on all 3 of these muscles. The second step of lower back pain relief from running is to stretch. And you specifically want to stretch the TFL and the gluteus medius muscles. The QL in the lower back isn't quite as important to stretch in this case, so I would just focus your attention on the glutes and the hip flexors. There are several stretches you can do for the TFL. I love the couch stretch just because it's pretty easy. You can do it anywhere and it hits multiple of the hip flexors at once. And one thing to keep in mind for doing a hip flexor stretch for the TFL specifically is it helps to do kind of knee bent, I call hip flexor stretches. And that's because the TFL connects all the way down to the knee. It actually contains the IT band. One kind of tangent is if you think you have IT band pain or like IT band tension or syndrome, it's actually the TFL muscle that's tight. Like the IT band is a fixed length of just tendon, like it can't really stretch or grow, but the TFL muscle that's attached to it is a thick bulb that basically determines its slack. So if you think you have IT band pain, try loosening up the TFL and see if you feel better. I bet you will. But yeah, to circle back, a knee bent stretch is gonna help stretch the TFL a little bit more because the attachment is all the way down at the knee. For a glute medius stretch, there's quite a bit you can do. I love the pigeon stretch or just a figure 4, crossing one leg over the other while sitting and then kind of leaning into it, pulling this knee across the body as well. This is gonna exponentially increase the benefits you get from massage, because massage is going to just unwind the muscle of all of its rigid, angry, tense muscle tissue. And then stretching is gonna help you lengthen it. And if you stretch after massage especially, your muscles are gonna be a lot more primed and susceptible to massage. So you're gonna get way more out of it than if you just jumped right into stretching without massage. If you're a runner and you just try stretching today without massage, you probably won't be able to get any length because your muscles are just that thick and angry. Or I almost guarantee you need massage if you're a serious runner to break up your muscle tissue, especially the glute medius and TFL, to make them susceptible to be able to stretch. And the last step to kind of round out lower back pain from running and make sure it doesn't happen again is to strengthen a few key areas. And those two areas are the QL and the glute medius. The reason we want to strengthen, and the thing that nobody ever likes to hear, if you had sufficient strength and endurance in these areas to begin with, you probably wouldn't have had pain develop. It could be strength, it could be endurance, it could just be one of these areas, but if you had bulletproof iron, extremely strong and high stamina QLs and glute mediuses, you're pretty much impervious to pain, and you can run however long you want, and those muscles will be able to hold up and won't tense because they're built to handle that stress you're putting on. So strengthening the QL and the glute medius are pretty easy. You don't even need any equipment or a gym to do it. You can just do side planks for the QL. Try building up to 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes on each side for one set in the side plank. Like back when I was training my QLs like crazy to prove a point for who knows why, I got up to about 2.5, 245 for one set on each side of the side plank, and felt pretty indestructible at that point. So if you can kind of chase that, that's I think a pretty good standard to shoot for. And to strengthen the glute medius, you can just do hip abduction motions. I will put a link to my gluteus medius strengthening exercises video here next. It's really great. I filmed it when I was in Puerto Rico in a pretty cool setting. But check those out. They're essentially just hip abduction exercises and fire hydrants and single leg deadlifts that can provide a lot of strength and endurance there. So yeah, that's my take on lower back pain when running. I think you can massage, stretch, and strengthen your way out of most lower back pain when running. Don't want that to be a complete blanket statement, because if you broke your back or did anything crazy, obviously doesn't apply. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe and check out this video next for more, and we'll see you in the next one.